Yeah.
Hi.
Oh.
הנה עמוס. היי.
Hi everyone.
הנה עמוס, מי שמכיר אותו, ג'ו.
היי.
זה רוברט, זה בן דוד שלי, ואווה.
I know them all. Hello.
Robert,
Joe, Eva, yes.
Wow.
I've had the pleasure of meeting them all. Hello.
I don't know how to do it. Oh, now I see all of you. Okay. Okay, shall we start? Is it okay? And then I will leave time for a discussion between ourselves. So welcome. And as I said, excuse my English, I will start with few slides from the first presentation, just to summarize whatever was then. And then we will continue to the second half. Generally, this is, just a second. Okay, generally, this is the Austro-Hungarian Empire. This is with all our story took place. And when we are talking about, this is according to the people in the Austro-Hungarian that was founded about 250 years before First World War, till the end of the war. And we are talking about this area. Don't you see the cursor? The cursor is here. You see in the green, Košice is there. And all the story takes place in this area here, around Košice, south and north of Košice. Now, the interesting thing that I showed you that time, that the Deutsch family started what I found till now. In the 1485, there was a Judah and Tamara, somewhere in Germany probably. And from there, all those families, these are the children, and the children, and the child, and the child, and the child, and the child, all this. This one, Leopold Deutsch, he lived already in Poland, very close to Rzeszów, where my father came. And he was buried in Titzin. Now, this Leopold that was married to Malka, he moved to north of Hungary. He changed his place to this place, Bodrog Cruiser. It's very close to Tokaj, where this wine is coming from. And then there were 3 generations of people who were living, I mean, our great-great-parents lived in this place north of Hungary, and our great-grandfather, Moritz Deutsch, Moses, he moved to Tolchva. And all this is shown in details in the first presentation. But he had 3 wives, and he had about 20 children altogether. The first one was born when he was 24. The last one was born when he was 61, including David Deutsch, that was I think the youngest upon those who survived the birth of the first year. He is our grandfather, and as well as other. One of them, another child of Moritz is what's his name? Shmuel, that he is the grandfather of Lily and Robbie and all this Berchik family and some others that we will discuss mainly afterwards in the end of the presentation, the last part. Now, as I told you, all this story started, I mean, this Moritz, our great-grandfather, Leopold, moved from here to Tokaj area, and our grandparents, I mean, David and others, moved from Tolchva. All the children of Moritz were born here in Tolchva, and then they moved to those places here. Velkaida, Moldova, Torna, places around Košice and also in Kopecky that is north of Košice. So this is the way about where our families lived. Now, if I'm looking on the third, Moritz, which is his last wife, the third one, you can see here 2, 6, 8, 10, 13 children. I don't know too much, but whatever I found about them, it's mentioned there. But I wanted to show you 3 of them that probably you know. One is David, our grandfather, with his 2 wives. Also, he had 2 wives. One was Berkowitz, my grandmother, and Helen, that was Robert, your grandmother. So, you know, he had two wives. And this is Moritz Tenenbaum. He was the father of those 5 girls in New York, Mildred and her 4 sisters. They lived in New York. Robert, did you know any one of them, or did you hear anything about this family, the Tenenbaum family?
I knew Mildred. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I do. We do.
Okay. Yeah, Mildred was my godmother. I think she was the 3rd. And, you know, they all ended up becoming fairly wealthy and doing fairly well. And, you know, Mildred's husband was a lawyer in New York. I don't know much about her sisters because I never really met them, because Mildred was the one that was friendly with my mother.
Yeah, that's I know. I do have few pictures of them, but I think it is in the previous presentation. Maybe I'll show it later this evening. So Morris is Tenenbaum. He is the father of Mildred. I mentioned David, and where is Shemo here? Here is Shmuel Deutsch, and he was also married twice. One Lina and another one where we will talk about, and he is the grandfather, as I told you, of the Berchik and the several Deutsch that are living here in Israel. We will discuss it later. So, and this is our family. This is the only slide that I have about our family. This is our grandfather, David. This is a picture after the war of Magda, your mother, Erne, and Magda's Ernes, and Tommy, and Latzi, and my mother. This is after the war. Here is Beji. These are Erne, Magda, and Tommy. Latzi, again Magda, and my mother. Now, finally, I told the story previously, but I found out just lately that she was born in 1911, not 1910, but this is the whole story. If we'll have time, we will discuss it once again. So this is what I had from the previous, and now we will go to the Berkowitz family. The Berkowitz family is my grandmother, the first wife of David. And maybe we will start with Rosa, my grandmother. I don't know too much about her. Just a second. The main thing that I do know is that she died very young. She was 31 years old after 4 children out of tuberculosis. I think that's what she had. She was born in, she died in 1917, so I don't know exactly, 31 years earlier. She was born in a place that was called Sendroit, north of Hungary. They all belong to Orthodox families in that area of Hungary, the Jews, the most of them were quite religious, Orthodox. Magda told me that her family, I mean, remembers her father and mother, they were not so religious, but the rabbi in Moldova, or in Shepsi, insists of all kind of things. Otherwise, he was saying that if not, he will not let the people from the village to buy bread from them, as it's not kosher. So she had to cut her hair, etc., etc. So this is a few words about Rosa, and this is her death certificate that I found in she died in Kopecky, and this is about what I know. The main thing is that my mother, she was 6 years old when she died, and I think, I'm not sure, but at least 2 of the children were younger than her, maybe only also the third one. I don't know about the third one, but 2 of them for sure.
Ya'akov,
I'm listening. Eva, I can't hear you.
You're on mute.
Eva, you are on mute. Eva, we can't hear you.
now. I can't believe that she was born 11, your mother, because my mother always, she was celebrating her birthday, and she had her sister who was at least 2 years older than her. So I can't believe it can be 11.
You know, I will discuss, if you want, maybe at the end, the whole question of my mother's birth.
Let her be born 11, doesn't matter.
No, I found the registration.
Yeah, we spoke already last time about it, but it's okay.
Okay, so go send somebody. You are the closer
No,
to.
I'm not going to send anything.
Send somebody Košice and look for the papers.
We already did it. Okay. Anyway,
Okay.
it doesn't matter. So
Okay, that's what is written there in Košice.
Yeah.
So anyhow, now we will go to the Berkowitz family tree, but here I will discuss it only about the cousin. Oops, sorry. Oops, went too quick. So just to show in general in colors, the family, the Berkowitz family. It's automatically. I don't know how to stop it, but okay. The green one is her mother. It's Grossman. So this is the Grossman side. Here, in this place, I mean, the blue one, it's, it's the Fried Kopecky. All this is Moritz and Lydia, the grandparents. So Joe, this is your part. My grandmother is here, is Rosa, with David. And this side here is the side of Joseph, the grandfather of Yulchi and Menashe in Haifa, Zoli. So these are mainly the main parts of this family. There are some others. So we talked about Rosa, Joseph, Lydia. A fifth one is Menachem. Menachem is the father of the Chazan from Lausanne. One of our mother's cousins survived and lived in Lausanne. He went there before the war, and we'll discuss it. So his father was Menachem, also from them, and there were some others. I have more information, but I don't think too many details are interested. If you would like to know, we will discuss it later. So here you can see the family of of Zoli. He is the father of Menashe and Julia. I thought that they will join us, but they didn't. They were, I mean, first of all, Joseph himself, he was innkeeper in this place that called Sendro, and he was born in 1872, and he had seven children, sorry. Out of them, two died very, very young. I mean, just, you see, Shendor he was only 4 months old when he died, and the other one, Nandor, was 1 year old, something like this. So those two are not counting. All the rest, except Zoli, died in the Holocaust, in World War II. And Zoli was the only one that survived from this part of the family. What my mother told me, that this Joseph also died quite young of heart attack. He was something like 38 years old when he got heart attack and died. Later on, Zoli himself also died of heart attack in the United States, but this we will talk afterwards. All this information about this family is mainly, except what my mother told me, I mean, all the births are registered in Košice. They live there, I think, in some time. So now we will go to the family of Zoli. This is Zoli here on the left in the corner. I do remember him. You know, generally, Czechoslovakia was founded only after the First World War, and just before 38, just before the Second World War, it was divided. This Munich agreement, and even Czechoslovakia had at that period of time 1 million soldiers in their army. Just by this Munich decision, all this army was just, I don't know how you say it in English, but it was not exist anymore. And the soldiers themselves, part of them volunteered as soldiers to other nations like Poland, like Hungary, like France, like England. All this with the ammunition, everything just didn't survive in. Now, one of the forces that was established at that period, as the war started, was Eva, you know probably more than I know about the history of Czechoslovakia, but Svoboda, he had a kind of brigade that was fighting with the Russians, with the Red Army. And Zoli joined this group at the beginning of the war. Menashe told me that there is some book about the history, and he is mentioned there. He was had a very, 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 how would I say? He was a soldier during the army with the Red Army, and at the end of the war, I mean, he survived. I don't know the details, but he met Chaya, his wife, I mean, the coming wife, and then he volunteered in 48, 49 to join what was called the Czech brigade, to come and volunteer in the independence war in Israel. So what happened, there were about 1,200 soldiers from Czechoslovakia that joined this brigade. But and they were starting in Prague, practicing and arranging themselves. But when they came to Israel in 1949, at that time, Ben-Gurion was against any separate forces joining the army. He was only accepting individuals to join the army. The story is very long about this place, but they found in the Carmel Heights, south of Haifa, a place that was called, it was an Arabic village that was called Exim, and they moved to live in this place. At the beginning, it was something like what we called Moshav Shitufi, a socialist, that everything is economically is like a kibbutz, almost like a kibbutz. But after a few months, it didn't work. So they became just a village, a farmer's village. Each two families had a cow, had a horse, had some chickens and this kind of things, and tried to survive, to make their living. I mean, they were calling also new immigrants that came from Hungary and other places in Europe, and all these families lived here. Chaya, his wife, her brother was also in this brigade, and so those two families lived here in this place, Exim. I remember as a child visiting this place. It was really a middle of nowhere. There was no asphalt on the roads. It was very, very dusty. It looks to me that, to tell you, it was terrible. Here you see Joe and Yulchi, the brother and sister, with me and my sister. This is a class. This is Joe here in the front, and you can see him here in a little bit bigger picture. Yoshi, I know that my mother loved him very much. She remembered him. He was older than my mother in something like 5 years, and he was working, made his living mainly with a truck. He had a truck traveling around Israel, but probably he was not so successful. So in 1964, I think, they decided and left Israel and immigrated to the United States. Now, as they came to the United States, what happened 2 years afterwards? He opened he studied how to make jewelry, women jewelry or whatever you say, and he opened a place in New York, but within 2 years he got a heart attack and died. At that time, Menashe was, before he died, Menashe left America and came back to Israel to serve in the Israeli army. So he was not there. Yulchi finished their college studies, and then they returned to Israel with, the two children and the mother. They had quite a tough life. I think at the beginning they lived in Akko, and as they didn't join us, I'll stop here with the story, but Menashe became a mechanic, something like mechanical engineering, and he worked in the refineries, in the maintenance of the refineries in Haifa. And Yulchi became an English teacher. And Menashe has one child, and Yulchi have 2 or 3 children. 3 children, a boy and I think 2 daughters. One of them is specialist in Chinese. She lived for several years. She served in the UN and then in in China, and they live in Haifa nowadays. Okay, so now we will continue. So that's what we talked about this part. Now we will continue to the, what is this here? About this Chazan from Lausanne. So this is, Menachem was the father of him. This Menachem, they lived south of Budapest, no, souther than our family. They have 4 children. The 2 girls died out of, how do you call it? Shapat. Yoni. Flu. This Spanish flu. I don't know when was this. Yeah, probably after the First World War. Joseph Berkowitz, I don't know exactly what happened to him, but he died also. I know, he died, I think, during the war. And the only one that survived from this part of the family was Zcharia Zoltan Berkowitz. He was, how do you call Chazan in English? Chazan is a tenor.
Cantor.
No, Chazan is Chazan. It's a cantor.
Cantor. Okay, cantor. Okay, I will tell in a minute his story, but he came to Switzerland before World War II. He faced some acts of anti-Semitism in Budapest. So he decided somebody kicked him in his ass with his leg in the University of Budapest. And then he decided to leave Budapest, and he went to Switzerland, and then he settled in Lausanne. And later on, he said that was the best kick anyone could get in his life, as this says. Now, he got married, but
Jacob?
Yes.
Is it in Hebrew? Lausanne, you write Lausanne. What is it? Is it in Hebrew, you say?
Probably this is in Hebrew. Yeah, I don't know. Okay.
Because it's Lausanne. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Lausanne, the way that you pronounce it. Now, he has one daughter, Francine. I didn't ever, I think I'll ask you to try to contact her, but I didn't succeed. She is now 74 years. She is a musician. She teaches music, and she is a pianist. She lives in Lausanne. I tried to call her. She didn't answer. I sent her a mail, also didn't answer. So I will ask you, Eva, try to contact her.
Okay.
Okay.
I tried also.
So now, this is Zecharia. This is the synagogue in Lausanne. You can see when he was young, he was studying to be a cantor in Budapest. His teacher was one of the 3 most famous cantors in the world at that time. He lived first he came from Ukraine, came to Budapest, but finally he looked for the big money and he settled in the United States. And he was his teacher. He was also in yeshiva. He was approved to be a rabbi. And in Lausanne, in Montreuil is a very famous vacation village near Lausanne, about 20 minutes from Lausanne. There was a yeshiva that was established in 1912. And when he came, he started also be a kind of a teacher in that yeshiva. And he was very popular. Sorry?
No.
Okay, he was very popular among the students. And the source of what I'm telling you is a book that I found lately. Just a second, maybe I have it here. I forgot to prepare it. It's called The Cantor of Lausanne. It's a whole book that one of the rabbis of that yeshiva wrote and published about him in two versions, one in Hebrew and the other one was in French. The French is forever, whenever you will come. If I have it here. It's not so important. And the main book is all kind of studies, all kind of lectures that he gave about the Tanakh and the Gemara, etc., etc. But also there is some parts of his biography. He was had a good sense of humor, and he was a Zionist in his ideas. Probably he came several times to Israel. One of the things that I know that is when my mother met Beji in Switzerland, they tried once to meet him, and they came to him, and but it looks that he was not so interested of meeting the family, and I think it was one time meeting, that's it. I don't know, Eva, if you know anything else. Eva? Okay, I don't know where she is, but you are on mute. The internet, if you are in, Eva sent me once a link to his Chazanut music pieces that he created and sang, etc. So whoever interested in Chazanut.
Ya'akov, I was there once after this when my mother and your mother went to him, and met also his Francis. But as you say, he was not so happy about meeting me. So he said he is not so interested in this family. And once I spoke with Francis again, just on telephone. Yeah. And I have a record. I have this LP with Zoltan singing. He was a really great cantor.
Okay, so it's written somewhere here when he passed away
88.
10 years ago.
No. 88 he passed.
Maybe I'm wrong. Sorry.
No, you showed it. 88.
Okay, whatever. Okay, so this is him. By the way, the yeshiva closed in Monterey and moved to Israel, and it's a Zionist yeshiva that somewhere in the occupied territories, what I call. But this is another story. Okay, now we are, Joe, we are going into the Fried Kopecky family. This is Lily, Joe's mother. We'll come to her and the children and Shelby. And now we will explain how we are connected from family-wise, etc. So this is again all this story. You see here, Lydia. Up again, no? I have to thank Gidi for all the presentation. But this automatic, I don't know how to stop it. So you can see here Lydia, sorry, and her husband Maurice, and these are his children. Oops. And among them, you can see here Alexander Shani Fried, the father of Joe and Shelby. Oops.
No, not Shelby.
Joe and Shelby. I know. I mean,
Yeah,
he,
he's not the father of Shelby.
the wife of Joe, of course. So, oops, I don't know. So these are all the children of the family of Morris, and we will, in few words, I will explain, and then Joe will add to it. Probably he knows more than I do. So Lydia was born in I know that she got married in 1896 in Moldova.
Who? Mary?
Lydia,
She was
the grandmother of Joe. The grandmother of Joe. And this, her husband, he was already, no, not already, how to say it. He was a widow at that time with 2 children, and he was older than her in almost 10 years, 8 years, something like this. They lived in Košice. He was born in 65. Here you can see it here. His father was, according to the registration, his father was a farmer, and the mother died before he married Lydia. This is what I found. This Morris, he had all kinds of jobs in Košice. He was a teacher. He was a bank clerk. He was a clerk in a how do you call it? In a mill, in a, how do you call it? Kemach, no? Flour mill.
Flour mill. Flour.
Yeah, so he had all kinds of jobs so he made his living. Lydia got married, I mean, she, not married, was born in 1874, and they had, sorry. Now, as happened in many families, young born children died very young sometimes. So you can see here, Julie, she died when she was about 1 year old. And I don't know about the others. We will come to Shani in details, but this Zoli, he also died. He was 28 years old when he died of tuberculosis, and he was buried in Košice. Shani and Anna survived the war, so we will discuss them a little bit more in details. About Erwin, I don't know a lot. I don't know, Joe, if you can add, do you know anything about him? I don't know.
I don't know anything.
Sorry?
I don't know anything.
Anything. And Lassie was with Shani during the war, but died almost at the end of the war, out of typhus. We will talk about it a little bit. So, Shani had, just before the war, he had a first wife and a daughter, Vera. Oops, just a second. This is, maybe we'll come to it later. This is the more modern family of Joe when Carly got married. And this is Lily with us, but we will come to it later with the story. So this is Anna, the sister of Shani. She was a very pretty, nice looking woman. She met after the war. We will come in details into the story of Shani, but he had a very, very terrible life during the war. But just as a coincidence, they met once again in Prague after the war. And when he got married with Lily and they decided to come to Israel, she came to Israel too. She met here Erwin, and later on they moved to the United States. Here is a picture of
Erwin met her in Israel.
Sorry?
Erwin met her in Israel.
He died in Israel?
No. Erwin lived in the U.S. He was.
I can't hear you clear. I don't know why.
Erwin met her in Israel.
Yeah, Erwin met her in Israel. She came after her brother to Israel. She met Erwin, they got married, and they moved to the United States. This is Steffi, so probably this picture is in Israel, because I don't know, but we will talk about this. Is Steffi Grossman Gardi. We will talk about her a little bit later. So generally, I believe that this picture is was taken in Israel, but I'm not sure. I don't know where.
Who is Steffi?
We will talk about her in a little bit later.
Yeah, but who is she?
She is from the Grossman family.
Okay.
Okay. So, Anna, this is a very, I know that they didn't have children, Anna and Erwin. So I think they were a very good uncle and aunt to Joe. That's what I know, that I don't know if they spoiled you, but I know that they treated you very, very, with plenty of love. That's what I know. Do you want to say anything about her? Something to add about Anna, if you know? Or?
No, go ahead.
I didn't hear you, sorry.
Go ahead, he said.
Yes.
Okay, this is just a very nice picture that I got from Joe. This is Shani.
Which one?
He doesn't know who are all the other men, and so I don't know either. But this is a very nice picture. So we don't know if it's a family or whatever. But Shani is here.
Which one? Which one is Shani?
This one here. Third from the right.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, now a little bit about what I found out, or whatever I found about Shani is from Joe. So I don't know if you want me to tell or you want to a little bit to describe his life.
Let's see. This is Shani here. Let me see, and
you have to lower, Joe. You have to lower your voice, please.
Not to lower your voice. I think you need to get closer to the microphone.
Can you hear me?
Not very clear. Can you get near the microphone?
I'm near the microphone.
So I'll tell you what, I will tell a little bit what I know, and then you will add to that. So here is Anna with Vera, the first child of Shani, and here you can see her in another picture. This is Shani and Lily. They met after the war, 48, I think, something like this, in Prague. They got married, and later on they came to Israel. This is with his two brothers in, I think, 1925. One of them, as I told you, died in the war. I don't know who is Latzi and who is the third one, but Shani was the only one that survived after the war. One of them as I told you before, died before. Shani himself, during the war, just a second, let me sure that I will not. Maybe let's talk a little bit before the war. After school, he started working for the railroad organization in Czechoslovakia. And then he was sent to Prague for this organization. But when the Germans came, they fired all the Jews. So he returned to Košice, and it was quite a difficult time for him till 1940. And then he started working in a working camp for the Germans. Very, very tough, difficult time. Very cold, very starving, no food, etc. for the Germans. One of the things that they had to do, I mean, with they used them to go before the German forces in minefields. Instead of dogs, they used Jews that were, but he survived. He also helped. As Joe told me that he rescued a group of Jewish people at that period that were hiding under the snow, etc. Later on, he was caught by the, if I recall correct, Joe, by the Russians, and he was sent to Siberia, to a working camp there. This was the place where his brother died out of typhus.
Yeah, right.
And the story is very, very, a lot of things Joe told me about this period, but later on, just a second. He volunteered. He was returned. I mean, he succeeded to smuggle a letter to this General Svoboda that I told you about him before. And this Svoboda came to this working camp in Siberia and has released several of Jews from that camp, including Shani, that was volunteering to join the brigade of Svoboda in the Red Army. Now, he was one of the first volunteers of this brigade of Svoboda, and he was participating in the fights of the battle to release Czechoslovakia from the Germans. And that he got several medals of his about his service, and he was sent period of the time over the border to protect the family of Jan Masaryk at that period of time. And and then he became a military journalist in the paper of this army. And when he returned after the war, he found out that his wife and first wife and child were killed, or were killed during the the war. In Yad Vashem, there is a whole file, and Yad Vashem is a museum here in Jerusalem. It's a whole file of that he left with documents and a part of his biography that he wrote just for the history of all what he went through. And then after the war, he started working in the railway organization in Czechoslovakia. And in 48, he married Lily. Lily also lost her first husband as a child in the war. No, just a husband, sorry. Just a husband.
Yeah.
She got married just before the war, and her husband was killed in the war. And I don't know exactly, he was, I think, anti-communist. So he decided that it's impossible for him to stay there. So he got an excuse to go with Lily to Vienna. And from there, they came to Israel. Now, in Israel, there was I think a cousin of Lily that helped them, somebody, and a little bit also, I think, maybe my parents, I think also they met them also. And they started their life here in Israel. I understand that she was working for I think the Austrian embassy, and he, where is it?
My father, no, in Israel?
Yes, in
Back
Israel.
home?
Yes,
In
I'm
Israel,
listening.
my father worked for a tourist company, Hell Tours.
Again, please.
He worked for a tourist company, Hell Tours.
For tourist company, but he did some.
My mother worked for the, I think it was the German and Austrian embassy or German embassy, I'm not sure, probably Austrian embassy.
But what I understood from Joe, that he tried to do some business also, and it was not so successful, so he lost a lot of money. And then your father.
My father?
Am I correct or not?
No, he worked for the tourist company the whole time. They did lose money on various.
What brought him? Maybe I didn't understand correct, but I thought that because of economical reasons, they decided to immigrate to the United States.
Yes, I'm sure it was a combination of economic reasons and other opportunities. Yeah. Right.
So I think also in 60, I didn't say anything about Joe birth. When they came to Israel on the ship, Lily was already pregnant, and Joe was born.
No.
No.
I was born in Israel. I was born in Israel.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said. That you were born in Israel.
Yeah.
In when was it? 48?
I was born in 49.
49. Okay, and then when did they immigrate to the United States? 54, I think. In 54, they immigrated to the United States,
Yeah.
and Lily was working as a secretary, and Shani was working in a company of I don't know, shares, share deals, etc. but when he was 66, he also got suddenly a heart attack and died. I think, Joe, you were then 16, something like this. And Joe finished his studies in high school and college, and then medical school in Los Angeles. I mean, the schools were New York, and then medical school in Los Angeles. And Lily came back at that period of time to Israel. She lived in Ramat Gan, I think. We didn't visit her several times. This is one of the visits, I think, Joe, of your family to Ashkelon with your mother. I see, this is Liat, I think, the youngest daughter or granddaughter of Rachel. This is Hagar. This is a picture of after the war. This is Shani, and this is the mother of Eva. This is Beji, somewhere in Czechoslovakia. I know that I didn't say Shani had a place to live, an apartment in Prague, and this was one of the main places where all the survivors of the family came from time to time. This was a kind of a center for the family. I think they had two centers, as I understand. One was in Prague, and the other one was in Podmekli, where Erno was living. And this is my visit to Los Angeles with Carly. I was the first daughter, and Joe and Shelby. Let's see. Here is the family again. Some pictures that I collected or I got from Joe. Maybe we will go, just a second, to the first picture. Oops. Yeah, this one. So this.
Are you going back?
Yeah, not in time, but in the presentation. But here you can see from left to right the family. This is Eve. You will correct me if I'm wrong, but it's written here. This is she's a teacher. This is Shelby's father and his second wife. This is Jonathan, the young boy of the family. This is Carly and her husband. And this is Susie. She studied, I think, literature, and now she was working as a librarian in a college. Eva, your business. And here is Joe, and here is Shelby, and Abby that works like her father as a doctor in a hospital somewhere close to Los Angeles. Okay. And I think this was the last meeting with Lily. I remember her as a very, very special woman, clever, nice. I don't have in English enough words to describe how we loved her. And this, I think, when she left, just before she left Ramat Gan, went back to live in Los Angeles near Joe, and I think she passed away there. Okay. Now let's continue.
תתקדם.
אני מתקדם. Now we are coming to Grossman. Grossman, so just to explain who is Grossman, I told you that Grossman was the mother of my grandmother. Julie, you see here, Julie was the mother. She married Berkowitz, Menashe Berkowitz. Her brother was Abraham. And Abraham had several children. One of them was Joseph Grossman that came to Israel before the war. He married in Europe, Steffi, and from Greenberger family, and they changed their name into Gardi. He was an uncle of my mother. You see here pictures of them, passport picture when they came to Israel, and they here is Steffi with Anna, with the aunt of Joe at our place in Ashkelon, and this is with my sister, and this is me, and here again another picture of Steffi. And now I don't know how much time we have. I think it's almost enough. So maybe I will stop here. I want to maybe one picture here. This I showed you already. This is the Tenenbaum family. You see Mildred. This was the celebration of 90 of Mildred. This is the parents when these 5 girls were young, and this is when they were almost 90. And this is something in between. I didn't know that they were successful, but the truth is that I don't know about them anything except the picture that I have, and I know that they were, Mildred was corresponding with Magda and meeting her, and also with my mother. I think we will stop here because nobody from the Deutsch family except
David is here.
Why?
David is.
I am here.
אני איחרתי, I had a problem with my computer, היה לי בעיות עם המחשב, אז...
Okay, so I tell you what, I don't know.
Robert is here, I am here, so you can go on.
It's okay with me. For me, it's very easy. The question is if you can hold.
Last time we were also more than 2 hours, so go on.
Okay. So now I will talk about
Yaakov, excuse me, but I have to go. But thank you very much.
Okay, so all the best, and you will get a link to the recording.
Bye, Joe.
Thank you.
Bye, Joe. Thank you.
Bye, Joe.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay, so Shmuel Deutsch was the older brother of our grandfather, of David Deutsch. And I will talk a little bit in details about Shmuel Deutsch. As as David and as all other brothers and sisters, he was born in Tolchva. He was also a baker, like our grandfather, and as his father, and as Erner and Lassie, you know, all of this family were bakers, and he passed away in 1937, so he was then less than 70. Okay. This is his death certificate in Torna. These are his children. So those in small letters are those, 3 of them died very young, but all the rest survived. So I will show in a minute, we will discuss all of them. Zoli, Mitzi, Roji, Artur, Mansi, and Ilu. So we will go in, as no one of this family is now with us, I will do it quite quick. Okay, so this is the family in, probably in Torna. In Torna, this is Mansi, when she was young. First of all, this is Shmuel, the grandfather. This is Mansi, this is Artur. This I'm not sure, I don't know if it's Ilu or Ilu or Mitzi, but this is one of them. This is Zoli, and this is Roji. She was the shortest. So you can see here in this picture. This is the registration of their birth, but it's not so important. Now this picture shows the family when Lily is now 82 years old. Here, I think she was 18. So here you can
90.
see.
She's 90.
She's 80. She's 80.
80 only.
18. Okay.
Oh,
So we can go. So we are talking about something like 65 years ago, and here most of the family are still here. This is Arthur and his wife. He married here in Israel, Tilda. This is Tommy, the older brother of Mansi. This is Mansi and Janosch, the parents of Lily. This is Malka, the first wife of Tommy. Now this is Ilu, the sister of Mansi. This is my parents, Avram and Ila. And here is Moshe. Moshe was the husband of Ilu. Now this is me. This is Robbie. This is my sister, Rachel. Here are the parents of Eli. Eli, the husband of Lily. And this is the brother, Shai. And this is the sister, Shlomit, of Eli. So this is just to show how the family looks like 60 years ago, 65. Now Zoli, the first boy of Shemu, he was a tailor. This is a picture of him. He lost I think his wife and children in the Holocaust, but he survived. I was told that he prepared for himself a special hat, lot of layers, that wherever they hit him in the head, it was blocking the heat. So this was the way that he survived. Later on, he lived in Hungary just a second. Let me just where is it? Okay. He lived in Levocha in Hungary, and when he passed away, his brother and sister. Slovakia, sorry. And when his parents, when he died, he was a kind of bohemian person. I think he went, no, I'm not sure. But I know that he lived in Levocha, and when he died, the whole family were sitting Shiva here in Israel. And Mansi was corresponding with him, with his second wife. I know that Arthur tried to visit him several times, but he was not allowed to go into Czechoslovakia. So this is what I know about Zoli. He was a tailor and lived in Levocha after the war. This is Mitzi, Matilda. She immigrated quite young. She was the first one to immigrate to the United States from this part of the family. And when she retired, she came to live in Israel and she died here. She didn't get married. She was a very stubborn person. She was working in kind of therapy in the United States, and she was very, very crazy about health and cleanliness and etc. It was very nervous, and I can tell a lot of stories about her. Part of the time she lived in our house in Ashkelon, and we as a nickname, we were used to call the cats Mitzi Mitzi. And whenever we were running after the cats and telling them Mitzi Mitzi, she was running after them and called them Rachel Rachel. So this was one of the stories. Finally, my father arranged her some place to live in Ashkelon, and before dying, she went. I think she stayed at Janosch and Arthur place This was the story of her. This is Roji. Roji, this is probably, I'm not sure, but she died in Auschwitz. She married some guy, Yugoslavian journalist, Haas. And Mansi was the woman that was running the bakery after her father died. So Roji was the one that was doing babysitting for Lily. Lily was very, very close to Roji because she was the one that grew her up because her mother was busy with the bakery. Now this is Ilu. Here is Ilu and Arthur, the brother and sister. They, both of them, immigrated before the war to Israel. She lived in Tel Aviv in Shlomo Melech Street. This is her husband. I'm not sure. Maybe this is her, or maybe not. Maybe this is Mitzi. I don't know. She married Moshe. They didn't have children. We loved very much to go to this place in Tel Aviv. I remember the house. But this is shortly about Ilu. This is Arthur. Arthur was with Mitzi. You see his Mitzi, and this is his wife, Tilda, and the twins. They had 3 children. Shmuel was the older one, and here are the twins, Hagi and Areli. Arthur was a kind of a genius. He knew at least 10 languages. I remember him as a child that he was studying, he was reading dictionaries as we are reading newspaper in order to study languages. And also they came before the war. I have plenty of stories about Arthur and the children, but he invented some technique to produce dolls for children, for mainly girls. And they opened at the beginning of the 50s what they called a doll clinic in Jaffa, where they lived. She was an artist. She was a painter. She started. Tilda finished very successfully studies of paint as an artist in Bratislava, and then she had a family here in Israel. So she came to the family. Arthur rented at her sister's place a room, and this was the way how they knew one another. Then they have, and they made their living of this doll clinic. Now the twins, you can see them here. This is Hagi and his wife Ofra. Areli didn't get married, but this is now he's I don't know, almost 80 years old. He had an exhibition, a paint exhibition. This is one of his paints. Here you can see Arthur when he was young with Tilda and Shmuel, their first son. This is the only picture I found about Shmuel. I think he was wounded in the Independence War. That's what Hagi told me, I think, and since then he was mentally a little bit problematic. I'm not sure that this is the accurate. I had all kind of version of the story, but and finally he died quite young. Here is my mother with the twins. This is a late picture of me, Rachel, Lily, and Hagi and Areli at where is this? I think Areli's place. I'm not sure.
No, it's in your house. You
So
see
those,
the
so those are pictures of Agar. So sorry for not remembering. Yeah, it looks to me like this, but I was not sure. Okay. And this is the family of Hagi with his children and grandchildren, etc. I don't remember. This is in this exhibition. It was a year or 2 years ago. So the whole family came and I was there. And this is the picture I took of the family. Now it's Mansi and Janosch and Tommy. Tommy is the first boy. Mansi was born in 1910, and Janosch was born as a Christian, and his father in the gold rush left the family looking for gold in America. His mother also died very young, and he was grown up by his grandmother, but in Michalovce, and he was among the Jews in and now that he met some young woman, Jewish, and he decided to convert. And the other one was because he grew up among Jews, but anyhow, he was converted to Judaism. And when Mansi's father was going to pass away, the family looked for somebody to help Mansi to run the bakery, and it was a kind of a shidduch. Janosch was the head of the production, and Mansi was doing in the bakery all the business, selling, buying, whatever was necessary to manage the bakery. He was quite a very, very strong, good worker. When they came to Israel, the story is long, what happened with them during the war and in Europe, but when he came to Israel, in Tirat HaKarmel, Erno Latzi and some others opened a cooperative bakery. Janosch won one of this cooperative, but it went bankrupt. So then afterwards, Erno and Latzi immigrated to the United States, and Janosch, starting in insulation, became a contractor of insulation. Here you can see Tommy and Mansi and Lily. Here is Rachel, myself, and Robbie. This is Lily and the first son, and Ellie. This is Lily, my mother, and me and my sister. And this is another picture from the wedding. I was growing up with Robbie almost like a brother. Mansi and my mother, both of them lost their mother when they were about 6-7 years old, and they became very, very, they were living close to one another, and they became very, very good, almost like, they were not cousins, they were almost like sisters. And every holiday when I was young, I was sent to Mansi's house to be with Robbie, or he was sent to us to Ashkelon. And this was the closest family that we had here in Israel. This is Janosch during the, World War II probably. This is Tommy and Lily. Here is Tommy. He later on, the whole story, but he checked Robbie went to live in Australia, and Tommy checked the possibility to join him. And he, in Australia, they drive on the left side. And he after a month or something like this, he had a car accident, and he just died immediately in this car accident. This is Robbie. This is Tommy's first son from his first wife. This is Tommy was married twice. Robbie married 3 times, and all of his wife. He is a widow 3 times. Now we have a 4th girlfriend or friend. This is one of his daughters. Here is with Mildred. Probably she visited Israel. I don't know. This is Mitzi, Mansi, Mildred, Lily, and Robbie. And this is me, Lily, Tommy, Malka, his second wife, and my sister Rachel, and 2 children of Lily in Ashkelon, I believe. And this is Lily's family nowadays. I mean, a few years ago. No, more than few. This is she died. I mean, this daughter died out of cancer. מתי זה היה, רחל? מתי גילי נפטרה? רחל? את במיוט, צריכה לפתוח את הכל. לא חשוב, תנסי. הנה,
About 6 years.
6 years ago. So Gilly passed away out of cancer, and this is the rest of the family. Now Lily has also a grandchild. It's not in the picture yet. Here are some more pictures of the family. This is Il and Zohar, the 2 daughters of Robbie from the first wife. This is the first wife. Here is the young girl, probably in her marriage. This is the boy from the second wife. This is the third wife of Robbie. And this is one of some pictures. Here is Eva.
What?
How old were you here, Eva? This is a celebration of Seder Pesach in our place in Beersheba. Hagar and me were hosting the family. This is Janos. This is Eli and Lily. And here is Eli. This is me, I believe. This is Hagar's.
Nice.
Whoever. How old were you here, Eva?
It must be 35, I think. I have already my glasses, so it must be something.
Okay, so I think in this stage, I will stop the share, and now we will see one another. If anybody wants to add something, to say something.
Hey, who is Frida? David is there.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello,
David is here. He joined us a little bit later. Just one thing. I'm writing as a book, just not for publishing, just for myself. So I have much more details, but I think for a presentation, Zoom presentation is more than enough. So now we can.
Ya'akov, you want to do the third part? You want to do another part again?
I don't understand you. What do you mean?
If you, now it was 2 parts you did. You want to do a third one?
Of Deutsch, not. I finished.
No, you finished.
This is the story of Deutsch. I don't know if I find much more information. Maybe I will do something. But as for now, I think this is the end.
Yes,
But we have another version of this presentation in Hebrew in about a month. So
you didn't. I thought that it already was in Hebrew.
No, in Hebrew it was not.
So maybe you do something more in Hebrew. So let me know.
It will be about the same. It's just easier for me to talk.
Toda rabba.
Just a second. Let's see what's happening with you. Maybe we'll start with Robert because he was not with us in the first part.
Thank God everything is good. We're all healthy. Hannah and Jonathan moved to Virginia from California. So they're
He's
much
still
closer now.
He's serving in the army, still serving in the army or not?
No, he has a new job. He works for the State Department.
Oh,
And Hannah still has the same job. She works remotely. And she goes back to California for business trips, you know, once every 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that.
How far is Virginia from you?
Me, 800 kilometers.
very
Ah,
good.
So I can drive in one day.
Yeah.
I see. And you are located in Vermont. How is your business there?
It's okay. Obviously, I've lost some tenants, but you know, compared to restaurants and hotels and travel, I'm doing fine. So I don't have any worries.
Last time that we talked, I think you just said that you are preparing a second building for some production manufacturing facilities.
Oh yeah, that's all done.
It was
That's all
done.
done. That's all done. Yes, and they're in there. It was done over a year and a half ago now. We finished. So
Means that, so we talked about 2 years ago last time.
I
So
guess.
it's good.
What happened to the house in Boulder?
We rented out.
Oh, it's rented. Okay.
It's been rented since we left, what, almost 7 years ago now, 6.5 years. And it's gone up a lot. Boulder is very, very expensive now.
Really?
Really?
$1 million.
What?
I know, it's crazy. So
Like Tel Aviv. Like Tel Aviv.
maybe, but it's
It's
crazy
crazy.
expensive for some reason. It's just gone really crazy.
Mm.
So we're keeping it because it still keeps going up, you know, every year. So we'll hold it for a little while. And if we need the money, we'll sell it. But we don't need it. Thank God.
So no
And
way
Hannah
to go
has
back.
3 children. I don't know. So I don't know if you all
Yeah.
know that she had another boy.
Yeah.
Well, she had a
Emil.
boy.
Emil. Yeah.
Yeah, she's publishing in the Facebook from time to time. So
Ah, yes.
we are updated.
Yeah. So anyway, so they're doing good. And they're building a house. They just ordered the house to be built that they want. And
Where in Virginia?
in Virginia, Leesburg. So it's about 35 miles from Washington, D.C. So he says it's very nice. I've never been to Leesburg. So, but you know, it's probably 50,000 people. So nice town, nice sized town.
Lillian is still painting?
Lillian is still painting.
Really? So we have a lot of artists in the family. I don't know if you know that David is painting and sculpting.
Well, I
don't
know
know.
he's sculpting. I didn't know he was painting.
I think he's also painting, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm both welding, stone sculptures, a lot of paintings, and more paintings now because I haven't had a chance to go do welding because of the pandemic.
Right.
So, but I've been doing a lot of painting, sending stuff to my kids. Alan has at least 10 of my paintings.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Michelle doesn't have room on the wall, so I don't send her anything.
Problem within my flat. I can't.
Is she married yet? Did she marry or not yet?
Oh, Michelle?
Yeah.
No,
So I thought they were getting married.
No, they're still engaged. I don't know if
They're
they're going
still
to get
engaged.
married.
All right. Well, they've been together a long time. So
Almost 6 years, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, she's divorced already, almost 7 years.
a long time.
How old is she?
Michelle is born in 76.
So
40,
44.
42, 44.
Wow.
Mhm.
What do you call it? Sage, her youngest, is having a bat mitzvah, but we don't know when again because of the pandemic. But in the neighborhood that Michelle is in Teaneck, they're having bat mitzvahs, which I think is crazy, but they're social distancing, they're wearing masks, but they're having parties. Which to me doesn't make sense, but what do I know? I'm only the grandfather.
You probably shouldn't go if
Oh,
they
I'm
do
not
it.
going. I'm not going. What's going on now too?
I mean, look, if you're young, it's not a big deal, but at our age, you got to worry.
Surge is insane, and the media is hyping it up to the point that you think if you're going to step out of the house, you're going to die.
Yeah, well, I don't listen to the media. They're
Oh,
crazy.
no.
They get more advertising that way if they make it sound scarier.
Yeah.
No.
What's going on in Israel with the pandemic, Yaakov, Rachel?
Now we just, I mean, there was I don't know how you call it, seger, something like curfew. So they just finished the second time. Now they started opening it
A little bit, yeah.
Part by part, and the figures are going again up, and they are hesitating. Today there was a big, I mean, all the malls are still closed.
Wow.
So, and the restaurants and the cafes and this, all of those places are still closed. And the media is full with discussions until we are trying to take care. We almost don't see the children and the grandchildren, only in the park. They don't enter our place. We are meeting them on benches outside. Okay. And
unbelievable.
This is the situation. It's not so easy. But we have, I mean, Hagar and me, we have three boys, yes. Right. So the young one, maybe I'll start with the one in the middle. We have to thank him because Yoni is the responsible for all the, here we see him. So
thanks, Yoni.
Actually does anything. Actually, the younger one is more responsible for everything. He actually, because he made the matzagot with Abba.
Presentations. Yoni is the genius of the family. He finished computers, but he is like Mama Teresa. He is trying to do a better world for all of us, so he doesn't have enough time to make money. Mm-hmm. And he helps his father sometimes with the Zoom system, but he's really a unique person. Sorry for saying it. Uri is also, he started as you, Robert, as a electrical engineers, but after 3 years of studies, he decided it's not for him. So now he is in social work and psychology. He made his, how do you call it? No? מה הוא עשה בקיימברידג' in England?
Doctorate.
No, not the doctorate. The stage afterwards. And he is now working here in Israel. Sorry?
Postdoc.
I have to go. So I'm babysitting here in my child, Gali, and I have to go home now. We are meeting our children, only babysitting, and Mickey is driving the children, so we are very busy. But we, like Yaakov, we don't go out too much. And it was nice to meet you.
Yeah, and hope to see you alive soon.
I still will, whenever this is over, I still plan to go to Israel. So hopefully I will see you soon.
We are waiting. Yeah, hope
we should do some meeting, all of us, in one country, somewhere in the middle.
Let's first that the corona will go out, and then we will decide.
Yeah. Okay, so bye-bye, Rachel.
Bye-bye, Rachel.
Bye.
I will describe her family in a minute, but just to finish with mine. So Uri made his postdoc in England. returned to Israel. He has one child, 5 years old, and he just got divorced a month ago.
What?
Uri got divorced.
No.
Yeah, it's because you were in the wedding.
No, I was not in Huri.
You were not in the wedding?
I was only on Gidi.
I was in Gidi's wedding. So maybe he will be more lucky. So Uri and Shani separated, and they are sharing the Hillel. So half a week he is with him, and half a week with her. And, it's just the beginning, so we hope for good. And Gidi, Yoni is living in Jerusalem, working there, working with the computer. So whatever, I don't know where he is working. But and Gidi works in the Israeli parliament as an event producer. So he in the parliament almost every day now. With the corona, only half of the week. I think he's working from home half of the week, and he has one child, Tom, and this Tom is also today we're celebrating in his kindergarten his birthday, 3 years old. Yeah. So and me and Agar are here in this apartment in Tel Aviv, enjoying our life except the corona.
Okay.
No, Eva, few words from you.
I'm shocked.
What are you?
I was just shocked with this separation.
So what about
I saw them 2 years ago, very happy in Cambridge. So, okay, I'm okay. It's strange here because it's here because of Corona. Each canton has its own rules. So it's changing all the time. Once it's allowed, and then now, as I told you already, on Monday it starts. Basel, my town, will close everything. So my coffee houses will be closed, but one street is Basel Land and it's open, so I can go just. It's crazy, really. What I am missing is singing. We are not allowed to have rehearsals. So we don't sing.
You are not.
Sorry?
You are not allowed?
No, the groups can because singing is the worst because you produce our song. But
in the Zoom.
Huh? No, it's
in the Zoom.
No, it doesn't work now. But I was 2 days ago. I was with a friend and her son, and we did some canon. We were sitting very distancing and singing, and so it will be on some, I don't know, some day we will do it together. So, and otherwise I hope I am healthy. I don't know, I till I could, I went to theaters, I went to cinema, and I'm meeting mostly people outside or in restaurant, and yeah, it's going on. I'm trying to learn Hebrew.
For 20 years already,
20?
no? 50.
45.
45, sorry.
But I love it.
Studying.
I love Hebrew and my teachers. So that's my life, yeah.
In my neighborhood, I live in a 55 and over community. One neighbor, both husband and wife, tested positive for COVID. So, and it's spreading here, because a lot of these people don't practice what there should be. They're going to eat out in restaurants, they're going places.
But is it allowed there? Is it allowed?
Florida is still open, most of it. They're going to restaurants,
but they don't have, because it was here, for instance, in Basel, it was open, but with very strict.
Well, and not everyone there is no mask mandate. They don't, in other words, not everyone has to wear. Most
We have,
people try to wear a mask, but you have some people who don't care, who think, and they don't wear it.
this is
But-
crazy.
And the people also in my neighborhood, you know, there are the two people who have it. One is 80 something, the other one is 70 something. And the day that he was tested positive, talking about people who were not too bright, he went swimming. He went swimming where other people swim.
Wow.
Anyway, so you really have to be careful.
Yeah.
The,
We do
we have
everything.
tennis-
You have to wear the mask. I
Yeah.
have such a, I don't know how you call it. So with from plexus, so I
the
shield.
Shield.
field.
So
Right now we can't play tennis, so on and so forth. But anyway, go ahead, Ya'akov.
You asked me about more Zoom meetings in this series. I have another 4. One will be Deutsch and Hebrew. One will be, 2 of them will be my father family side. I mean, Blasbalg and Weinstein in the United States. Whoever you know, I don't know if you want, I can invite you. But anyhow,
you disappeared. You
I
stuck.
see
I
the
don't hear
mouse, but
you.
it's not moving.
I don't hear Yaakov.
I guess it will take.
Yaakov,
all this, I'm listening.
you are listening, but we don't hear you.
Your mouth wasn't moving.
Yeah, you had a bad internet connection there for a few seconds.
Okay. What about now?
You
Now it's
okay?
Better? Okay, so as I told you, we have 2 meetings about the Blasbal side, one Deutsch in Hebrew, and the last one that I'm going to prepare, I'm not about my parents after the war. Europe, the story about how they came to Israel and the first years in Israel. So if you would like, I will invite you, and it's up to you either to participate or not.
All right.
I'm still working on my father. It's so interesting. He wrote memories and 2 diaries from the war. So I still rewriting them and correct them, and so I hope it will be also published maybe.
So I invite you also to prepare a presentation and invite
About my father.
Yeah, why not? I told you I'm interested. Whoever is belonging to, he's the family, in the family.
Yeah. He was very much in Israel. He was long enough there, so he liked it very much.
We traveled to, I don't know if you know, Eva's father, first of all, he came to Israel. He was a chalutz, a new immigrant to Israel before the war.
No.
No.
Yaakov. He was not chalutz. He came. Yaakov.
I was talking about the independence war of Israel.
No. He was not in the. He came
before the war.
No, Yaakov. Let me tell it.
Okay.
My father. He came to in 39. He came to Palestine because he had to leave Czechoslovakia because of the war, and he was in. Then he joined the English army, and then the Czechoslovakian brigade, Jewish brigade in Czechoslovakian army. Then he were in London until 47. Then he came back Czechoslovakia, and that's it. And at 64 he came second time to Israel. He stayed 3 months. He writes about you and Rachel, about your family, very much.
Yeah, I was traveling him. I'm joking. I was a very young boy, and I was guiding. I was joining him when he traveled around Israel. We went from Ashkelon to Beersheba, and I don't know, all kind of stories. But I think I was also, in Beersheba. I think I was.
Yeah.
The other places, I don't know.
No. You live still in Ashkelon, so.
Yeah. Okay. And and Beji and him came several times, not together, but sometimes together, sometimes
Not several times, only once. I went with my mother 64.
I remember that time that my mother or my parents, whoever, tried to convince them to stay in Israel. And your mother, I think your father wanted because he had maybe because he had a brother in Israel. But Beji didn't, she couldn't hold
Ya'akov, we couldn't stay. My father was in Prague. They didn't let us all three. And next year, 65, he went for 3 months. So I don't think that he wanted, no, he told me in 68 when I wanted to emigrate, but I didn't. So he said, I have enough of emigration for 39, so it's enough. That's it.
Okay.
So my
All
dear
right.
cousins.
Thank you very much. Till next meeting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very nice.
Stay healthy.
Yeah,
Nice to
stay
meet
all
you.
healthy and let us hope that we will
All
meet
the best.
alive.
All the best to you.
I'll see you at the next
Keep
meeting.
safe. Keep
Bye,
safe.
David. Bye, Ya'akov,
Bye
Robert.
bye.
Stay
Bye-bye.
safe.
Thank you.
Thank
Be
you.
healthy. Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
I just have to say something more, not family. Till you started, I was the whole day from 12 until 5, so-called limud. It's a
Limud.
limud. It's very popular now that each town or each country makes limud. Just one day. It goes from morning till the evening, and it was this time it was Zoom. It's a good. This is positive about Zoom, the Corona, because I wouldn't. It was organized from Berlin this time, and I wouldn't go to Berlin. So with Zoom, you can participate. This is different lectures or theme. So it was quite interesting.
In what language they do it?
This was German, English. Depends who is speaking. Yeah.
There are studies also in Hebrew?
Yeah, but this was organized today. It was from Berlin, so
Yeah, I understand. What did you study?
I didn't study. It's a.
What did you listen?
I can tell you this. This is each hour. You could choose between 4 or 5 lectures. So I was jumping from one to another.
Send me a link. Let me see what it is.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay?
I do. So, bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Good night.
Danny again, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Shalom.
Bye, David.
Bye.
Bye-bye.